pretty fantastic. America's greatest country in the world. San Diego's America's finest city, and here's a day to prove it. We're at $764,000 right now. That is ridiculous. So let's keep going here. Let's see how high we can go. No use going this far, this fast, without finishing up on this pace for the rest of the 6 hours as we just hit the halfway mark. So you can donate two ways. You just heard the phone number, 1-800-760-KFMB. We have lots of volunteers who are answering right now, which is awesome. You can also donate on the website, 760kfmb.com. And I will do the best I can at refreshing this every so often, and I can see who donated. And I can say Peter Ward, thanks for giving. I can say Mark S. Benson, thanks for giving. And Joni Kraus, thanks all you guys for giving $100. It's pretty awesome. Sean's Multiple Cats. That sounds like an A&G reference there. I appreciate giving $27. So I'll shout those out if you'd like. Also, if you'd like to donate in honor or memory of anyone, you can do that when you call in, and they'll be sure to pass it off to me, and I will give you a shout out for that. For instance, Loretta Mature is Victor Mature's wife, donating for Victor $3,000, which is a fantastic donation, Loretta. I appreciate that. And Moosey's Ice Cream giving $500. So if you want a specific shout out, we'll give it to you, because the money is going to Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, and there's no better cause than that. 760kfmb.com and 1-800-760-KFMB. We're here with Esther. Esther, how are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
It's good to see you. Esther is, you live at Freedom Station. How long have you been there?
About 2 years.
Okay, tell me about it. What is Freedom Station for people who don't know?
So Freedom Station is a place for people like myself who have been medically processed out of the military, who have either been wounded, ill, or injured, who have a place to land upon.
Yeah. So now we've had Freedom Station 1 for how long? Do you know how long Freedom Station 1's been around?
I believe about 10 years.
That sounds about right. 10 years, and the need is still there and growing. So now we have Freedom Station 2, which was a huge goal a couple of years ago, a vision and a goal that you made happen. We'll get an update with that from Sandy here in a little bit as well. But Esther, what's life like there? Why is it important to you?
For me, it's important because it's like a family unit. I know that if I'm having a time where I need somebody to talk to, I can always go to some of my neighbors that I can go and talk to them, or if I just need somebody to, just give me a hug and not ask questions, I can go to one of the guys next door that are, up until recently, I was the only female there. I am so happy that I finally have another female there. But I just know that they're like brothers to me, and I still have that military family feeling without being in the military anymore, because that's something that we all miss. But it's home. And
those guys, they know better than anyone, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah, they know.
Yeah, what to say and what to do and how to help.
Yeah,
and what you're going through.
We don't have to say in all uncertain words, but we know what each other have gone through. We can choose to open up to each other. We're just there for each other. It's different. It'd be different than living in a civilian world where you can't go to your neighbor and say, hey, this is what's happened in my military career, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I know, I get it.
Yeah.
But there, you can talk to each other, and they don't judge you. They don't pass judgment, and I don't know. It's home.
That's awesome. Speaking of home, so we have that. We have Freedom Station, and then the main mission we have today is to fly everyone home for Christmas, so they can be with their families. So, have you been a recipient of a plane ticket?
Yes, I got to go home last year.
Nice. Where's home for you?
Well, I kind of grew up in the military, so kind of lived everywhere.
Yeah.
But last year I got to go home to Oregon. Nice. I went there specifically because my grandmother has Alzheimer's, and I wasn't sure if it'd be like the last few moments I would have to be with her, consciously aware of who I am. And I'm so grateful that I did, because she's progressed this year to be on hospice, and she doesn't really remember anybody anymore. So I'm truly, truly grateful to this foundation because I wouldn't have been able to have those few moments without her.
So that's like the 5th time I started getting some tears. So this is an amazing dynamic. So there's so many awesome wrinkles to the story. So you have the basic one, which is 1-800-760-KFMB, by the way. 1-800-760-KFMB to get the phones ringing. And you can donate online, 760kfmb.com. And if you hear a cowbell in the background, that means someone gave $1,000. So go ahead and give $1,000 and you get yourself a cowbell too. So the original story is we're going to fly someone home for Christmas. And then there's the wrinkle of, well, like we talked to Chris earlier, and he was injured, couldn't leave the hospital, so they flew his wife to him into the hospital. So you have that wrinkle as well, where they bring the family to you if you can't. But even I think of flying you back to your family. I didn't think of any potential dynamic of, oh, it's urgent. Like this is really important this year. I think of it's like a basic Christmas that you're going back to. But that's not necessarily true. This could be a very, very, very important Christmas to go back to.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're okay. I just cried a second ago.
So we just got the news the beginning of this month, or the beginning of November, that this will probably be the last Christmas I'll have with her. So last Christmas was very important because it was very hard to coax out of her to remember who I was. And this Christmas, I know will probably be my last one with her. So if it wasn't for Sandy and this organization, I probably wouldn't have been able to have those moments with her. And my grandma was very important to me because she helped take care of me when my dad was on duty and everything growing up. Sorry.
So you know what it's like for family to be away.
Yeah.
Because your dad.
Yeah, my dad was in the Navy.
And you know what it's like to be away.
Yeah.
And now you can be home.
Yes.
1-800-760-KFMB. 1-800-760-5362. Esther said, I'm nervous. I'm not going to do a good job. When you donate, know you're giving to Esther. Specifically.
Sorry for crying.
Never. How many years did you serve?
Just shy of 12.
No kidding. So 12 years. So how many were you away for a couple Christmases?
So I want to say for deployment, so 1.
Okay. Not too bad out of the 12.
Well, on deployment 1,
Okay.
but
away
most
for
of them.
others.
Yeah.
And I asked that question, and one vet slapped me across the face. Yeah, but we're also missing birthdays and other holidays and these other things. Like, I guess that's right too. So all the Christmases and all the holidays and all the time away from family that Esther's given to us. Can we give one last Christmas for Esther and her grandma? Did you say Nana, grandma? What do you call
Grandma.
her? Grandma. One more Christmas for Esther and her grandma. How about that?
We would call her Grandma Mama.
What is it?
Grandma Mama.
How do you say that? What is that?
It's German.
Grandma Mama?
Grandma Mama.
Grandma Mama. Esther and Grandma Mama right now. 760kfmb.com. This will be cool. Actually, on 760kfmb.com, when you donate, you can put down a name. And people put down funny names. But you know what? Put down Grandma if you want to. And that way we know you're donating specifically to Esther. How about that? That'd be pretty good. And you can, again, phones, 1-800-760-KFMB. Esther, you're awesome. Jim Phillips here from Studio Diner. Jim, how about that, huh?
You want me to follow that?
You scored a couple tears, really, right? What are we doing here?
Sorry.
I've been in car crashes that didn't hurt that bad.
Why do you support Warrior Foundation, brother?
I've mentioned a couple times to people that asked that is, I grew up in Niagara Falls, New York during the Vietnam War, and the bridge to Canada, I lived in a neighborhood where everybody in the neighborhood used to have block parties. Like literally back in those days, you could have a block party with neighbors bringing things out into the street and nobody stopped you. It was great. Everybody was neighbors and friends. And the Vietnam War changed that neighborhood. And I remember some guys went off to serve. A couple guys went to Canada. A couple guys one guy street over came home. He was a staff sergeant in the Army and he went to Canada, and it just wrecked the whole neighborhood. Nobody wanted to talk to each other, and I saw what happened to those guys after they got out, and had this group, this organization been around back then, it would be a stronger, better neighborhood.
Yeah.
This is the greatest greatest veteran organization I've ever seen. 100% of the donation goes to making sure that these guys get back on their feet and get back, make sure they make their appointments at the hospital, make sure they get back into society, make sure they get a suit, get a job. This is a great, great thing. And you guys do a great job of helping them out.
You speak of community. What's so awesome about Freedom Station, too, is it's in a community.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
in the community,
Right.
right? You guys are part of the community. So it's cool you see these guys with prosthetic limbs or whatever walking around to the Starbucks down the street
Right.
in San Diego, which is how it absolutely should be.
Yeah.
That's a great story, Jim. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's again great to be here this year. The Studio Diner gets to do lunch. Usually we do breakfast, and we're really happy to do lunch because you get to be a little bit more creative. But we're happy to be asked to come back. The diner is a big supporter of veterans and active duty military and their families, and it's great to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Esther, can you speak a little bit about your dad being deployed for how many years did he serve? And just being a part of a military family. in
24
general.
years.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So how difficult was that at times for y'all?
So I don't know. I mean, it was just something that we just got used to. We got acclimated to it. I mean, it's all I ever really knew my whole life
Yeah.
was my dad either being here or not being here. And
What age for you did it make sense, like why he was away? Oh, he's doing, this is the military, this is what it is, and it's good.
I'd probably say probably closer to like end of middle school, high school. And it made a lot more sense to me with the whole patriotism and everything when 9/11 happened, because that was my freshman year in college.
Wow.
So that kind of struck a little bit more of a chord in me.
Yeah. You're like, oh, my dad's been doing this my whole life. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I never really understood, like, truly understood the gravity of, hey, he could have died, or any of my other family members that have served
Yeah.
could have passed away while serving or anything like that.
Why did you
So,
decide to serve? Why and when?
I wanted to forge the way for the females to come in my family.
Nice.
I had an aunt who served in the reserves. She was a corpsman, and believe it or not, she served here at Balboa
Oh, cool.
at the Naval Hospital. But there hasn't been a single female to serve active duty, and I kind of wanted to
In your
pave
family.
the way.
That's awesome.
The goal was to become an officer. So being an air traffic controller in the Navy, you had to be enlisted and then apply for the officer program. So that was the goal. Didn't
Yeah.
turn out the way I planned, but hey,
Yeah.
gotta roll with the punches.
I think you forged away still. 1-800-760-KFMB. 1-800-760-5362. What's up? That's right. This hour brought to you by West Automotive Group. Please donate online right now, 760kfmb.com. And if you're donating specifically with Esther in mind, go ahead and put Grandma right there in the name category, and it'll pop up right here on my screen, and we'll be able to show Esther that you're the one specifically supporting her trip to be with her family and all these other guys who are trying to get home for Christmas. 760kfmb.com, and you can get the phones ringing too. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. We have about 10 volunteers here. We got a couple warriors answering the phone as well. So if you're fortunate enough, one of those guys will pick up the phone and you can take your donation via credit card. And if you have any shout outs you'd like to make in honor and memory of someone, you can do that as well over the phone. 1-800-760-KFMB. Esther, you're living with these guys. Tell us about their trips home and the importance of that for all these other guys too.
So for many of the service members that are going through the process of that have either been wounded, ill, or injured, a lot of them end up being medically processed out, like myself, and a lot of them are generally junior ranking. and they can't afford to go home, or they're living at the hospital and due to unforeseen reasons, they can't afford to go home. So the organization, like what Sandy's put together, the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, it's come through to be able to send us home, to be able to be with our family and our loved ones, or bring our family and loved ones to us, and just have that sense of normalcy for just those few days, or to have that sense of the smell of snow, or have the snow in your hands, or I don't know, if you live in Florida, go home and have I don't know if they have the torrential rain in the winter.
Yep. How about grandmama's hug, right? The feeling of that, whatever that home feeling is. Yeah, so everyone we've talked to says when you come back, or when they see people come back, they're a totally different person. Totally rejuvenated, totally restored.
It lifts your spirits up, and it just gives you that extra little pep in your step. And it gives you that extra little push to kind of like try and get through a little bit more, and just to try and push through even a little bit harder.
Yeah, you need that rejuvenation, right? These guys, you've been doing these rehabilitations or whatever for a year. We talked to Adam, who's had in the last 3 years 600 surgery or 600 doctor visits. 600 doctor visits.
I couldn't
in
even
3 years?
tell you how many I've had.
Really?
I couldn't even tell you.
So to take a week off of doctor visits is like, what a joy that is.
That in itself is just a blessing.
So to go home and be a part of that and just rest your soul, right? Rest your mind.
Yeah.
And come back physically restored or rejuvenated. It's huge.
So think of it this way. Imagine the one person that you're missing the most, or the person that imagine the one person that you could wish in your life that you could get the hug from. And imagine them hugging you that you couldn't have had in a long time. What would that mean to you?
Yeah.
That's what it means to us.
It's perfect. Yeah. And what better gift? Could you possibly think of a better gift than that for someone? Especially someone like you and someone like all these warriors that Warrior Foundation's been helping out for 16 years now. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. I want to see some more donations on the website as well, 760kfmb.com. Super easy to donate. You can put your name, you can put a funny name, you can write Grandmama in honor of Esther to make sure that she can get home and see her grandma for the last time here. This hour brought to you by West Automotive Group. Been a long time supporter of Warrior Foundation. We're so super grateful for that. Jim Phillips, after all these years of helping out Warrior Foundation, any of these guys stand out to you in particular, or what's just, because you're talking about your days growing up in Niagara Falls, right? And what you saw then maybe versus what you see today?
Yeah, it was funny so the drinking age in Niagara Falls when I was growing up was 18.
Can't wait to see where this story's going to go.
It was 18. So I remember one time in a freezing cold winter, I was 17, and I was walking with some buddies, and I saw, definitely a part of a motorcycle gang. They weren't all in a motorcycle gang, but they couldn't ride because it was freezing snow. So they're blocking the entrance between me and the library that I wanted to go to. And these guys were up against the wall. And I saw this, I go, I don't really want to walk past those guys. So this car pulls up, and two guys get out, and one guy was probably like 6'5", and he was wearing a jacket like this, a Marine Corps jacket. And you could tell he was in the military, where all these other guys had real long hair. And he walked across the street in the snow to go into the bar, and he was home on leave from Vietnam. And it parted like the Red Sea. Everybody got out of his way and said, "Terry, welcome home." And I said, "Man, who is that guy?" And they said, "He's a Marine." And I said, "God dang, that's what I want to do." So I think of him sometimes, and I just saw Chris Lawrence. I think he might have cut out already, but Chris Lawrence came into the diner the other day Wednesday and sat at the counter. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. He was one of the very first Marines that myself and another Marine flew out to spring training about 10 years ago with some Marines from Balboa. And I hadn't seen him. He's a really good guy, and I'm so impressed with Chris, how he's developed over so many years. He didn't want to feel sorry for himself. He didn't want you to feel sorry for him. He became a boxer. He was traveling around the country getting paid to fight. I mean, I'm so proud of this way he shaped up.
It's amazing. He said, I've been doing this for 9-10 years now. To see the growth of these guys over all these years is really exciting as well, and just a testament to how great Warrior Foundation absolutely is. 760kfmb.com. You can donate online, 760kfmb.com, or 1-800-760-KFMB, and they will take your donation over the phone right now, our team of volunteers. And we're sending our guys home for Christmas. Very simple. Sending Esther home for Christmas. 1-800-760-KFMB. It's $5 a week. Give me $5 a week. We'll send a guy home. You just want to give a $500 donation. That would be fantastic. And just be like, here, one ticket home. One ticket home right now. Let's just get this done. I want to send Esther home. My treat to Esther. 1-800-760-KFMB. 1-800-760-5362. And also online, 760kfmb.com. This is the Warrior Foundation Radiothon.
AM 760's Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Radiothon. Donate now. 800-760-KFMB. Now from the studio. This is AM 760's Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Radiothon. Help send a warrior home for the holidays. Call now, 800-760-5362. 800-760-KFMB.
This is an exciting half hour right here at the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Radiothon, brought to you by West Automotive Group. This hour where their philosophy is they never put money ahead of people. Speaking of money, we are at $797,925. We're $2,000 away from hitting $800,000, and that is because of Coral Humes giving $500. Vince Kingsley, $500. Michael Franklin, $1,000. Vicky Wickstrom at $600. These are fantastic donations. So grateful. Julia Hardesty made a $200 donation in memory of her father, Al Wilson.
Here's a reminder.
Al Wilson, who served in 3 wars, World War II, Korean, and Vietnam. So she is donating in memory of her father. Appreciate that, Julia. And you can do that when you donate on phone. You can donate in memory or honor of anybody. Just let them know, and they'll hand it off to me, and I'll read it off the air. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. Sandy, $2,000 away.
Oh my gosh.
From $800,000.
We're gonna get it. Mike, I know you'll make it happen.
By 1 o'clock.
No pressure, Mike.
Don't put it on me, Sandy. Come on. Now, here's what we're going to do. Not we're going to do. Here's what one of our callers did. Someone called in and said Esther's story was pretty amazing, as it was. Were you able to hear Esther?
I was able to.
Okay. So moved by Esther's story, they said, I'll give a match of $30,000, but you got a half an hour.
Okay.
So they said, I'll give as much, right? I'll give as much.
So we need these phones to be ringing. Look at those reindeer. They're all looking at me. It's kind of like deers in the headlight.
We don't
What's
want
that
reindeer
saying?
in the headlight.
We want busy reindeers.
We have a $30,000
So call now.
match
The lines
right
are open.
now in 26 minutes. So everything you give from this point forward will be doubled because of this wonderful donor and because of Esther. So 1-800-760-KFMB. It's true starting right now online and on the phones. We are matching up to $30,000 for the next 24 minutes. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. So I know you're driving, or you're at work right now, and you're like, I got a couple $100, but it's not a big. No. Do it now. It's only $20. Nope, 40. 760KFMB.com, 1-800-760-KFMB. We got Sandy Lemkohler here as the founder. We got Greg Martin, who's the new president of Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, and Stan Gretschman, who is the from Stanley Dean Construction, who's been doing a fantastic job with Freedom Station 2. Stan, how are you, brother? Good to meet you.
Good.
Glad
How are you?
Here, man. Freedom Station 2. Freedom Station 1, how many years ago? 10 years ago, Sandy?
We opened, Colonel Martin was commanding of Camp Pendleton and Balboa, and he cut the ribbon on Freedom Station 1, and I'm going to say he cut the ribbon in 2010.
Okay, so just under 10 years ago. When was your crazy, ridiculous vision, Sandy, for Freedom Station 2? When did you first pray about it?
Well, I prayed about it when I had 30 people waiting to move into Freedom Station 1.
Wow.
I had a wait list of 30 Marines,
That was
sailors,
unacceptable
and
to you.
soldiers, and I only had 11 cottages. So I said, this seems to be working. It's good for the guys. I rented the location at first because I wanted to make sure this is what the guys were going to want.
Oh, yeah.
And so we rented it for 3 years, and then a year and a half into it, we were blessed and we were able to purchase the property. Once we purchased the property, we had 30 sailors and soldiers waiting, and we had Army at that time too up there, and so we had people waiting, and I thought, okay, this is working. We can keep veterans from becoming homeless if we move them into Freedom Station and let them start living like civilians before they get out and have the problems and are on the streets. There's a little difference in our philosophy. Get them before they're out. Yeah. Why wait till they're out and having problems? Let's keep them going on that forward trajectory.
To thrive.
So we had to look, and you know me, it had to be the right place, the right closeness to the hospital. It had to work with the guys with that center quad so they could come out and talk to each other. And we found a property about 2.5 years ago, and we were able to purchase it. And with that, we had a little hiccup with the first contractor, and things weren't going very well. And I thought, okay, we're slowing down. And then we met Stanley Dean Construction. And Stanley came in, and he had a lot of freight to pull and straighten that place out with the city of San Diego. But I want to announce to everyone.
Oh, this is the announcement. Someone
This
told me
is
there's an
it.
announcement at noon, and then
This
Sandy's
is it.
not here.
I'm
Okay,
waiting,
what are
waiting,
we doing
waiting.
here? What are we doing? What's the announcement?
Well, Stan has been working with the city of San Diego, and I'm going to let them explain it, but we have gotten all of the permits. So this man is going to go into Herculean freight train motion, and this baby is going to be done, I'm going to say, no pressure, March.
What? What do you think of that?
No pressure.
That's fantastic news,
So
Sandy. I know how
the-
hard it was to get through the
Historic Society,
yes,
the structural
everyone had to sign off
department.
on this. Everyone had to catch the vision. People who don't normally
But
catch visions like
they
this.
wouldn't let me go to the meetings anymore.
Ah,
A little too much passion, right? You know. So I'll let them explain kind of what the procedure was, but I'm here to share with you too that Duncan Newman Windows
Who we talked
went
to
in
a bit
there
ago,
and
yep.
kind of did some magic and saved us a lot of money with beautiful windows. They were very workable with us. The Historic Society, they've become our heroes, and they have made it work for our veterans. So
good.
I'm going to let them kind of explain a little bit more in detail.
Listen, it's a shame that we live in San Diego, the most veterans of anywhere in the country, and that this required as uphill as a battle to help our men and women. But
Well,
alas, here we are.
But here's the thing.
Mission
We want to
accomplished.
make sure that that place is safe, it's structurally sound, and the Historic Society made that happen for us.
Okay,
So
good.
we're really, really
Good,
thrilled.
good, good. Stan, what's some of the technical challenges with this old, beautiful site to turn it into Freedom Station 2?
Well, it was built in 1922.
Start there.
So you just start with that. Okay. You got 2x3 walls. You're retrofitting everything. This place was gutted. It's all new electrical, all new plumbing, all new mechanical, which is all your heating and air, all new windows, doors, everything. Every stitch of this place pretty much is brand new. We left like the exteriors of the buildings. We wanted to maintain the look,
Yep.
for the neighborhood. It's called a bungalow court.
Yep.
So it's got the main house, and then there's 8
Which
other
Sandy
units.
mentioned is so important for the guys, so
Yes.
they can just walk out front and they're all in this communal neighborhood.
They've got an area to hang out too within their area.
Yes.
In the court itself, it
I
promotes that camaraderie. They all have their own place.
Yes.
But that brotherhood is maintained.
I think that infinitely better than just an apartment complex or the barracks or whatever,
Absolutely.
right? Where you're stuck in your room and there's just a hallway, right? No, that's not even close. This is a whole different level that you guys have. Why, Stan, is this important? Why is this project different than, your big-time construction firm? Why is this one different for you guys?
Well, for us, we've worked with Sandy and the foundation on Freedom Station 1 as well, and just getting to know everybody in this foundation and how this foundation works. It's not normal to see all the money that's given go where it's supposed to in a foundation. People set foundations up for various reasons. Just this foundation is near and dear to my heart because of how it's run and who the people are and what their mission is. So, I won't go too deep into it,
No,
but
that's
they're
it.
Sandy and Judy and I have been knocking stuff down for years now, and they're my ladies, you
Yeah.
know. So, and Greg, now that Greg's around, man, I love his yin to Sandy's yang. It's been
so right. You have Sandy's just passion,
Yes.
emotion, and then you have the Colonel come on in.
Well, the Colonel, there's no emergencies. He's just cool as a
That's a great
cucumber.
line.
And
You think I'd be the one carrying sledgehammers into meetings? So long.
That's true. Sandy doing that.
yeah.
Yeah, they keep me out. They kept
Well,
me out of the meetings.
We did have to rein Sandy in a bit because we got to kill some of these people with kindness and
Yeah.
not as much emotion, more just dealing with, the black and white stuff.
But the thing that was really great about it was they really were all about the veterans. And that, the city of San Diego, I think, realizes what a population we have. And I think they really, really worked around a lot of things. Not that they did anything illegal or anything, cut any corners.
Sure.
We, Stanley made everything happen, all the architectural drawings, all the electrical work, the plumbing, everything is documented and well taken care of. Every department's got their own copy of everything. but it really was all about the veterans. And so some of the ladies up at the Historic Society are going to receive their very own little service dogs, Marine dogs. But it has truly made a difference, and I'm excited because we can do it bigger and better, and we can have more warriors living in an area where they're going to be able to reach out to their buddy, their neighbor, and they're going to be able to problem solve on their own, and then move out into town, and then get their own homes like Christopher Lawrence. But yet we kind of maintain that touch because they may need to come back and be with their brothers as well.
The phones stopped ringing, they were full, and now they're unfull again. So 1-800-760-KFMB, and they were full because I think everyone got inspired by the $30,000 match. So we still have... Oh, we hit the 800,000. Hey! There we go. $800,070. We still have, I don't know how much has been donated in the last 8 minutes since we announced it first, but until the top of the hour, until 1 o'clock, everything's matched up to $30,000. So whatever you have to give, you can pat yourself on the back for giving twice as much, even though you're giving half as much, because someone donated $30,000, up to $30,000 for a match. So please, 1-800-760-KFMB. We got volunteers standing by, ready to take your call, ready to take your donation. It takes 3 minutes. You can donate in honor or memory of anyone. You can say, give me $5. That's $5 a week. That's a plane ticket. Just say, hey, you know what? Here's $500. Let's be done with it. And then again, it's doubled till the end of the hour. So do it right now. And also 760kfmb.com. You can do it online. It takes 2 seconds as well. You'll see it right there. You can't miss it. 760kfmb.com. And I just loved Esther's story so much. I don't know if I forget Esther's story. Someone donated, Corn Pop donated too. You can leave funny names, or you can you leave whatever you want there, and I'll read it on the radio. So Robert, thanks for giving $100. Dennis, you're 10. Rebecca, 500. Roberta, 500. Maureen, 50. Kevin, 500. Karen, $50. Thank you guys so much. 760kfmb.com. All right, so let's focus on the sending guys home again, right? Because you guys do Warrior Foundation so much. This is what Warrior Foundation fills the cracks. Right, and Colonel, you can speak to that for a minute about filling the cracks.
Sure. So the government right now takes pretty good care of guys while they're still on active duty. We've developed that a lot over the last decade or two. I think having learned our lesson, really kind of a national shame from what we did not do in the Vietnam era. And so now when you're on active duty, you're in pretty good hands. But there's a gap between being on active duty and when the VA picks you up. And the VA does a lot of good things in my mind, but there's definitely a potential large gap that a lot of guys fall into after leaving active duty and before getting into some resources they really need. And so that's really kind of what we do and where we're focused at. We get them while they're still on active duty. We prevent that gap from ever even being a factor. There's no ditch to fall into. If you're with us at Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, we're going to make sure you're getting what you need, that you have a camaraderie, that you have access to our resources. Sending folks home for Christmas. Most of these folks that were flying home for Christmas in this program are on active duty. And so we've greased the skids with the active duty force. It's all approved by lawyers, commanders, everything else. And most of these folks, don't make a lot of money. So young family maybe bringing home $2,000, $2,500 a month sort of thing. Doesn't leave a lot of money for flights home. And
no, so you think $2,500 a month? Is that kind of a lot of what we're talking about here for these guys? So so $500 plane ticket is a pretty huge chip out of that, right?
It is.
So I think that's a simple gift we can give them for everything that they've done for us, especially when you see these guys who are injured. But even though they've been away for years, they've missed Christmases, they've missed birthdays and everything else, a gift home for Christmas, that's pretty good. So filling in the cracks, you guys do stuff all year long for these guys. But today, we're focusing on sending them home for Christmas. Sandy, we speak a lot about what this does to their souls when they're back home. I love that. That's the message for me.
And I've never figured out if it's mom's good cooking or dad telling them to knock on it or just when they're home with their families. When they come back, there is a difference in their attitude. There is a difference in how they handle their physical therapy, their occupational therapy, going to their multiple appointments. There's a more positive impact when they come back on how they're handling what they need to do to deal with recovery.
Because you've seen it for 10 years without fail, right? Let's say the guys who live at Freedom Station. They live there, they're dragon. They go home, they come back, and they're alive.
And they're good to go. They will go down to do their therapy. They will meet with their doctors. They will meet with their squad leaders, and they just have a better mental attitude about carrying on, standing strong, and going forward. And it really makes a difference. It really does. I just got a call a little while ago from Camp Pendleton, and they were like, so we need to book 3. Is it too late yet to book 3?
Really?
And I said, it's not too late. Book 3. Call right now. Get them on the line. Because they're afraid as the price goes up, the closer we get to Christmas. I said, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the flights filling up.
Yeah.
So call. So they're connecting with me, and they're saying, and they're calling the colonel, which is really nice. I can actually go places now, and I'm watching him on the phone, right? It used to be me all the time. So I've got the right colonel in the right place at the right time, and I know it's going to go bigger and better, and I know that these guys are all going to be able to get on the planes and go home. And simultaneously, when we have warriors that are in need up at the hospital, he's bringing in the family members, he's bringing in what needs to be done, hotel rooms, cars, things of that nature. So it's always multitasking, and of course, after dealing with everything he's dealt with for 30 years, this is a piece of cake for him.
On that, Colonel, that's $1,000 right there. 1-800-760-KFMB. You can donate again, 760KFMB.com as well. Everything's matched up to $30,000 for the next 12 more minutes. 1-800-760-KFMB, 760KFMB.com. So, Colonel, and we could talk for hours about what you've done in the past, but Sandy explained to me before what you did when it comes to the new unit up at Pendleton and working with the guys up there. Can you maybe speak to that for a minute and the expertise that leads you into this job today?
Sure. Well, one of the things we discovered in the past generations, Vietnam stands out in particular, is we didn't take care of guys very well when they came home. So in 2007, the Marine Corps started a formal program to take care of guys while they're still on active duty, and they established what we call a Wounded Warrior Regiment back in the D.C. area, and then a battalion on each coast. And so I was the commanding officer of Wounded Warrior Battalion West, here based at Camp Pendleton, but responsible for the entire western region, also the Western Pacific.
Wow.
And
so that means anyone who is injured comes through you.
Exactly. And so what happens, when the operational tempo is that high, battalions are deploying constantly. You're a guy who's, say you're missing a leg and you're in 1st Battalion, 7th Marines, that battalion's not really well equipped to take care of you. And so you are assigned to Wounded Warrior Battalion. And you go through a transition process, and we actually redeployed back to combat theater guys with prosthetic limbs.
Wow.
And so a very exciting mission to be involved in. But while I was there, I made great connections with those outside of the military that were really helping our folks. And one of the great not-for-profits was Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, who really helped our detachment down here at San Diego Naval Medical Center.
So that speaks so much to the Warrior Foundation and to Sandy, obviously, that you would transition from that after how many years? 30 years?
Yeah, I just finished just shy of 30 years about 6 months ago.
So Colonel rank, doing that with our Wounded Warriors, and one day we'll talk more about everything you did, deployed over all these years. But to transition and almost like a lateral move over to this in the civilian world, to Warrior Foundation, and to help all us out, that's pretty fantastic.
Well, I had a lot of different jobs over 30 years in the Marine Corps, commanding various units, but that particular mission just made a real impact, and getting to do something in line with my own personal values after leaving active duty is just can't put a price on it. This is awesome.
Can you help us understand these guys, right? For those who haven't served in the military, like what's up with these guys?
And so, most of the folks that we help are pretty young men.
Yeah.
And, we've asked them to do some things that are pretty unmentionable. A combat environment is something you really can't just explain to people. It's tries men's souls. There's puts morality into question. It is unnatural act to do some of the things that we've asked these young people to do. And so coming back from that and trying to adjust to some kind of normalcy is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
And so the term out there is the new normal. You got to kind of get to the point where you accept a new normal. Maybe that's managing post-traumatic stress. Yeah. Maybe it's trying to function with a traumatic brain injury. Maybe it's trying to function without a couple limbs. Every situation is a little bit different. But the one common denominator is that you're at a point in life where you need some help. You need a hand up. We like to say a hand up, not a handout, because what we're after is self-sufficient lives that are focused and with the passion for the future. And so that's where the foundation comes in. Pretty awesome to be a part of that.
Especially these men. Jeez, they've done so much. Sandy, you're tearing up. What happened?
So I'm looking at the dollar amount, and I'm very appreciative. But I want you to understand, 5,017 people are honoring us with their hard-earned dollars to take care of our warriors. And we're going to be good stewards, and we're going to make it happen.
Yeah, so I think I've cheered up 4 times so far. So Sandy does a lot. But usually it's at the dollar amount. I've never seen you speak of the number of people, but that's as beautiful as the money.
Yes, it is. And you know what? It is amazing to me that San Diego is going to be able to move forward with this money. We are going to be able to get Freedom Station 2 open, and we're going to be able to do bigger and better things. I had to share with you, remember when I was talking about boxes for Baghdad? And I would talk about shipping boxes overseas. And so 2.5 years ago, Colonel was overseas. And I thought, ooh, I've got an address. I know where to send these boxes. So he's busy running a country, right? He's doing
Iraq.
his war stuff. He's running, and he gets a call. And I'm going to let him tell the story because he tells it better than I do, because he was actually on the other end when it arrived. So,
So I wasn't in charge of the whole country of Iraq, but I was the operations officer for the country of Iraq, the J3. And I get a call from the post office at Fort Operating Base in Baghdad telling me I had about 200 boxes in the mail. I thought, I'm in the middle of some things here kind of important. Who the heck is, this from? So I find out they're from Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, and I had half of them sent to Task Force Al-Assad and half of them sent to Task Force Al-Taqaddum, which were our major kind of efforts at the time. Just getting that love from home when you're deployed, even getting a letter is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
And letter writing's kind of, days are fairly gone, but getting a box with, and usually it's stuff that's, somewhat useful.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're thinking, all I need is another knit cap. Thanks a lot, Sandy. But the level of comfort and seeing the expressions on the young guys' faces, particularly when they open these boxes with something from home,
It's
is
a
pretty
similar
awesome.
metaphor. It's maybe not even the amount. It's the number of people. It's maybe not the thing in the box. It's the box itself. It's the people that care. That's the connection.
and we had one young couple, they Facebooked because they were separated for Christmas. They were Facebooking, and when he opened the box, he was doing pretty good with everything. We sent, and I always say it wrong because I call them snakes, okay? And it's what they use to clean their guns. And he was doing really good with it, and she was doing really good. And she's texting and Facebooking kind of as they're talking, and she's recording it. He did fine till he got to the bottom, and he opened the Marine flag, and he lost it. So we do impact them in a lot of ways, and we're still sending boxes to Baghdad. I call it boxes to Baghdad, but they're really going to other places now.
Yeah.
And so we are also going to provide big, huge bed pillows next week. When you've been 2.5 years in a hospital or a barracks bed, that pillow gets a little lumpy bumpy. So we buy some great big man-sized pillows, and we put some pillowcases on there that are the 600 count, and I've watched Big Marine wheelchair just put his face down in that pillow on his lap. So we're making really good changes for these guys. And I just want people to know we're going to be very good stewards with your dollar. Like I said, I'm a Navy wife. I don't just pinch that penny. I make that baby scream. So we will be very good
And
stewards.
Charity Navigator gives you the absolute highest rating. It's not even close.
We
It's
were
like
honored. They
absolute-
gave us a 4-star again this year. We're
Yeah, of
very
course. It's
honored
not-
by
it's-
that.
it's
And that's a
absurdly high.
tough one to get past, Charity Navigator,
Sure.
so we're very honored.
Yep, 1-800-760-KFMB. 1-800-760-KFMB to donate online. Thanks to Paul, $200. Dennis, $20. Elena, $25. Mickey, $50. Charmaine, $200. Matt and Wendy, $500. Thank you so much for your donations. We have 4 more minutes until our match is up. We have someone donated $30,000, up to $30,000 for a match. So you have 4 more minutes to make that happen. You can do it online at 760kfmb.com or 1-800-760-KFMB. 1-800-760-KFMB. Get the phones ringing. Colonel, I share this story with people, and I don't know if I made it up or not. That I think I asked you years ago, if I pointed anywhere on a map of Iraq, could you tell me what and where it is?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so I think exactly what I said was, if I named a town the size of Poway, could you tell me where it is?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so that's.
Are you going to test me on
no,
there?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I promise. But I
Yeah.
remember telling you that years ago, and I tell that to people all the time. As like, just. I think it's pretty cool.
But you get pretty used to the geography, and a lot of times when you're deployed, you're focused on your little region. In my case, it was kind of a countrywide effort in a particular assignment that I had at the time, so I'm familiar with the whole thing.
Stan here from Stanley Dean Construction. Stan, parting words here as you embark upon Sandy's mission to get this Freedom Station 2 done like tomorrow, basically. Hurry up.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
What do you think? What's your parting words to everyone to donate for the cause?
Just we got a lot to do. This place is it's got to serve some very specific needs, and those needs they do cost money.
Yep.
And but we're gonna do it. We learned a lot of lessons with Freedom Station 1 that we're gonna implement in Freedom Station 2. So this place we're doing it all right from the beginning.
good.
We're not gonna have to go back and tune things up. So that. The finances are a thing. The budget is a thing.
Speaking about unique needs, I remember you've had triple amputees.
Triples, and we've had a quad. His name is Jason, and he lived at Freedom Station 1. And Stan puts in special showers for these guys, special countertops, special doors with, it's going to be amazing what Freedom Station 2 is. And the best thing about Stan is, and I've had him do other jobs, he gets done on time. A contractor, imagine that gets everything done on time. So we will hopefully get this place open in March, and yeah, the special needs are going to be there in advance for our warriors. And we've had some very special people donate furniture, all made in the USA. His name is Mr. Henderson, and it's leather, and it's beautiful, and it's going to be motorized for our guys
The
to be
things
able
that
to.
people donate are, that's what really
That
a
is
lot
going
of
to
this makes
help
it all happen
the
too.
comfort level for our warriors
Yeah.
big time.
1-800-760-KFMB. Specifically right now, your donation is going to send our guys home for Christmas. 1-800-760-KFMB. We have 1 minute left for the $30,000 match. So if you make the phone ring right now, we'll count you there. 1-800-760-KFMB. Think of sending our guys home for Christmas, giving that gift. If they can't leave the hospital, we talked with Chris earlier, we'll bring their family out. We'll fly the family to them. And as we talked with Esther earlier, this may be her last Christmas to be with her grandma, so you can think of her as well when you're giving. This hour brought to you by West Automotive Group, where they never put money ahead of people. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362, or online right now. 760, that's $1,000 right there. 760KFMB.com.
AM 760's Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Radiothon. Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Radiothon. Help send a warrior home for the holidays. Call now, 800-760-5362. 800-760-KFMB.
Slater Crusaders, America's the greatest country in the world. San Diego's America's finest city. This is the day to prove it. By the way, the day before, that's a $1,000 donation right there when you hear that cowbell. By the way, day before Pearl Harbor Day. It's the first time I've mentioned that. That's a shame. I want to thank Bruce Hay, giving $500. Ron Stark, $100 in honor of Chris Lawrence, who we heard from about an hour and a half ago. And Dr. Murphy, actually, who we're going to talk to in a couple minutes here, who gave $500. And someone from Canyon Lake named Hunter Biden gave $20. I don't think that doesn't seem... I don't think it's the real Hunter Biden. The real Hunter Biden could have given much more than... I mean... all that Burisma money, a lot more. But whoever that is, we appreciate the $20 nonetheless. It was worth the joke. 760kfmb.com. You can donate online. Takes 2 seconds. Or you can do it on the phones. 1-800-760-KFMB. I'm loving these donations. You can see them online. And it's like Robert, 6 minutes ago. Rick, 6 minutes ago. Kimberly, 5 minutes ago. Michelle, 5 minutes ago. Dan, 5 minutes ago. Enrique, 5 minutes ago. So you're not the only one online at any given moment clicking send or clicking contribute. So grateful for that. Just $100 here, $50 there. Here's Mary, $250. Ann, $100. Laura, $100. Super grateful for all these donations. More violin, please. In reference to A&G earlier, $25. You guys are great. 760kfmb.com or get the phones ringing, 1-800-760-KFMB. I'm here next to two very intimidating looking men, Eric and Miles from the VFW Department of California. How are you guys?
Fine, thank you.
Yep, doing well, thank you.
Appreciate you guys being here. You guys have many years of service between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, you can grab that microphone a little closer, sorry.
Oh, okay.
You guys have many years of service between you. You've been away for Christmases, I imagine.
Quite a few times.
Where? Deployed or here?
I was always deployed overseas.
Yeah. What's it like being away for Christmas?
Well, you're with your buddies, but it's lonely because your family and your close friends aren't right beside you. So it's heart-tugging not being home. So.
What do you say, Miles?
Yeah, I spent my first 3 years in Japan, and all three of those were away from the family on Christmas, and you just thrive off of each other, your shipmates, and the support from family and friends back home.
Do the best you can.
Kind of keeps you going.
Yeah, and you think so. Sorry, I keep forgetting, and I have to keep being reminded. You just said it's not only when we give these guys a gift of going home. It's not only they get to go home. It's their family gets them to come home, right? So I just thought of you being in Japan, and you being deployed. Like you're with your buddies, you kind of make the best of it, right? You're all in it together, but your family's still missing you.
Yeah.
They want you home, and we can give that gift to these guys right now, which is maybe even more powerful in some ways. 1-800-760-KFMB. Think of that when you're giving. Think of the mom and the dad. Many years ago, geez, I don't remember when this was. My brother lives in London, and we surprised mom with him coming home. My brother's not a veteran, right? He's just a guy. But even the surprise of him coming home on Christmas Eve, and he got home late the night before. She didn't know. He woke, everyone woke up in the morning, and he walked into the kitchen. I'll never forget my mom freaking out. How much more powerful is that when it's your son, who you haven't seen in some of these guys over a year, who have been deployed and missed many other Christmases, and who didn't expect to see you at all, and now San Diego can give them the gift of Christmas together. That's pretty powerful. You can't get better than that, honestly. So 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362, or 760KFMB.com. Gentlemen, you have a gift for the Warrior Foundation. What do we got here?
We have a check for $45,000.
$45,000. I didn't expect.
Whoa.
Hey, whoa,
Whoa,
$45,000. Guys, listen, no offense. I thought you were going to say like $45.
Right. Oh, come on. $45 from these guys? Come on. They work a lot harder than that.
$45,000. Tremendous.
Yes, sir.
Where do you guys raise this from?
It's raised all throughout the state. All the different districts in the state help donate. The motorcycle club itself, this is one of our major charities that we donate to. So it all gets pulled into our Wheelchair Games Foundation. And the Warrior Foundation is not the only charity we support, but this is our favorite charity that we support.
Mm-hmm. Why is it important to you guys? Why do you guys, specifically, you two personally, spend so much time with VFW, right? Why is this still important to you after your service has completed?
The reason we like the Warrior Foundation is they help our wounded warriors from beginning to end. They pick up where the military is lacking and help take care of our heroes that have gone out and gotten wounded for this country. They help them through their recovery. They help them get set up to transition into civilian life. They help them overcome their injuries and give them activities to keep them active and help them deal with their situations.
Well, let's speak to that because I know you guys said the Wolf Pack, which is the wheelchair basketball team, speaks a lot to you guys in particular. Why, Miles? Why is the wheelchair basketball team important to you guys?
Well, I'm kind of new to this. I'm district commander for San Diego and Imperial counties, and it's just great giving back to the community and to vets, especially combat vets, and so.
Junior, you're are you in charge of the Wolf Pack?
I'm the assistant program director
for
the
cool.
Wolf Pack.
So here's your there's 45 grand. Sorry, I stumbled over that because I was like, I want to be sure. I was going to say 45,000. I was like, no wait, it's not. It can't be 45,000. It must be 4,000. $45,000. So that's specifically earmarked for that mission right there. Can you speak to the importance of the brotherhood, the tribalness, the mission, the war in the warrior that the Wolf Chair basketball team is?
The Wolf Pack is actually a very unique brotherhood. As Chief knows, he was a corpsman, I'm assuming.
I was.
When it comes to Marines, to Army.
Real quick, why'd you assume that?
Because of Doc. And
where's it? Oh, there. Okay.
I don't know. I have the same.
There you go.
The same on my shirt.
Very good. I was like, oh, I'm missing something here. I gotta be an idiot, ignorant idiot.
No, definitely not an idiot. We've earned our title of Doc with the Marines.
So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
The Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood, when it comes to Wolfpack, it was created by Josue Barone and some of the Marines that came back from 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines after their Sanguine deployment. So it was a hard time for them. It was. Imagine being a normal, active 18, 19, 20-year-old at the epitome of your life.
Yeah, so you're at the peak of your athletic and warriorness manhood.
And in 1 second, literally 1 second, your life changes forever. Whether you lose an arm, you lose, like Mike Spivey, you lose a leg, like Brian Riley, you lose 2 legs, like Josue Barone. It changes your life forever. Well, Josue is one of the most strongest people that I've ever met. And he went to Sandy and he said, we just want to play basketball, but we don't know how. So with the help of the Naval Medical Center, the Wolfpack was created. And along with George Salazar, Travis Green, Perry Price, Junar Barrera, Dan Cashin, they formed a brotherhood. They formed an elite team not because of their military background, but because they've all been through something that other people really wouldn't understand. They have each other. I mean, it's a brotherhood. They don't get along at all times. It's sometimes like having 12 kids, and you're just like, what? But what these guys can do on the court together is imaginable.
Yeah.
This is our national championship ring from
There
2
you go.
years
Now
ago.
we're talking.
So
We're
that's
not
our
just
national
you guys aren't
championship
supporting
ring.
losers here, right?
No.
This isn't a tiny extracurricular. This is
We've won the D2 national championship, and this year with this going, this will help bring home a D1 national championship to San Diego.
I think of Sebastian Younger book's Tribe is an amazing book, and it talks about the importance. And you guys get this, I think, in a unique way that no one else can. But the brotherhood that's formed through shared difficult experience, shared deployments, shared close quarters, shared injuries in the case of the Wolfpack. There's nothing like that. There's nothing. But when these guys come home, so we were talking about Josue earlier, and he was like, I forget what I asked, but he said, the worst part about the injury was me feeling like I'm leaving my brothers behind. And like that's heartbreak. It's more for these guys. It's more. It's
failure.
Your soul busting, like soul crushing inside of you.
It's
right?
failure. It's actually what.
It's failure. Oh, that's so not true, but that's
But
how I
it
feel.
is,
I know. That's why it's so painful for me as a civilian who could like look at it from the outside of it.
For
I was
us,
like, oh, that's not failure.
When you get injured in combat, especially for corpsmen and Marines, we feel that we failed. Because as corpsmen, we have one responsibility. Our responsibility is to take care of our Marines.
Other guy, yeah, wow, that's interesting.
Our Marines, if our brother is willing to take a bullet, take a round for us, imagine what we're willing to do for them. And when you're taken away from that equation because you got injured, it does something to your Sikh, it does something to your facade, it does something to you. It's part of you getting left in that country. There's a line in a movie, I'm not going to name it, it's for copyright purposes, but the gentleman's a famous SEAL, and he says that part of me died on that mountain with my brothers. When you're injured, if part of you is left with them, part of you is left in that country, whether it was in Iraq or Afghanistan. It's something that, as a person, as a human being, we signed up, we raised our hand to do one thing: protect our country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when you're injured, you feel like you let that down.
To bring that, beautiful. You guys are shaking your head in agreement, right? You feel that?
Right. The members of this team, they're just so strong-willed. They've overcome so much in their life. And what really drew us in to help support them is they reach out to other vets on these other basketball teams that they play. They'll reach out to vets that come to watch them.
Oh, because they play. You guys play other teams that aren't necessarily veterans.
We
Correct.
play.
Wow.
We play in the National Wheelchair Basketball Association, which is a organization that has 155 teams. Out of those 155, we're the only all-military.
What? How could that be? Wow,
Because-
but you're right. You guys reach
But
out
we
to
do reach out to
veterans on other
other
teams.
veterans.
They reach out to the other vets. They help them understand that there is a life after their injury, and they help guide them and give them information on how to get where they are, and how to get the treatment that'll help them get where they are.
Oh, so it's such an outreach. I never thought about the outreach aspect.
The team is fantastic at outreach.
It's a different outreach. This past summer, I was able to help co-host a 3-on-3 basketball tournament at Venice Beach, and we brought in 48 other veterans that aren't as well funded as Wolfpack.
Yeah.
So with this money, this helps us help all the other veterans out there that I know that this saves,
Really
this
good.
helps,
Really good.
and this moves forward.
And to bring it back around, the tribalness and the brotherhood, you can't do that on the battlefield anymore. but you can do it on the basketball court.
They can, and they
you
do
can,
every
and you can do it with
day.
each other, and it's a simulation. It's more than that. It's a what is it? It's a recreation. It's a simulation. It's a fulfillment.
rebirth.
Yeah, it's a rebirth of the warrior spirit in them. And
It's a
that's not
rebirth.
being dramatic, right? That's
It's
not overly dramatic. That's what
not.
this
My
is.
guys-
It's really important.
My guys are probably my biggest heroes. When I think I'm having a bad day, I remember what they're dealing with. Because my wounds are invincible. You don't see mine. Theirs you see. And they've taken me on and helped me out more than I've actually helped them. I'm blessed by Warrior Foundation to be able to pay it forward and pay it back by helping other veterans that I know that aren't as fortunate as us. Because there's a lot of them out there, and we've never left anyone back.
Yeah. Erica Miles, VFW, Department of California. This donation specifically to Wolfpack. Appreciate you guys for doing that.
Thank you guys, and
Pretty
make sure
super.
you use properly.
The rest of us, your donations are going to another mission that Warrior Foundation has, which started out as a single mission, razors, 16 years ago, and has turned into so much. And right now we're about sending our guys home for Christmas so that they can be with their families that they've given so much over all these years and they're apart from. And some of these guys are in the hospital and maybe for years and haven't seen their families. Their families haven't seen them. And you can give them that gift. Andrew, a couple seconds ago, it says here online, contributed $100. Charles, $25. Ann, $100. Ray, $100. Anthony, $100. Betty, $100. Lance, $4,000. Lance Ballinger. Thanks, Lance. Karen, $50. Luann, $20. Another $500 here. Luann, $200. This all within the last 7 minutes of you guys talking about the importance of the wheelchair basketball, but flying them home is what we're doing here right now. 1-800-760-KFMB. 1-800-760-5362. You guys are amazing. You can also donate, again, online, 760kfmb.com. Phones, 1-800-760-KFMB. We have the front row of phones are full, but we have a back row that has nary a phone call with it. So please give them a call. If you'd like to donate in honor or memory of anyone, just let them know, and I will be sure to announce that on the radio. And when you're done, when you hang up the phone, take a deep breath and think of these guys going home for Christmas. Think of Esther. This every year I think I have a different story stands out, but I've never met Esther before. So Esther, her grandma, last year you flew home, has Alzheimer's. So last year was the last year that Esther's grandma could remember her, and now this year will be the last Christmas with Grandma. And she was here a little bit ago crying, thinking about being grateful for the gift that you're giving her after she and her whole family, her dad was in the military, many other family members have given so much for us. All right, think about it. Esther's been deployed how many years? Her dad was 20-something years, and she's, what can we do to repay you? Oh, how about you go say goodbye to Grandma in person? How about that gift? 1-800-760-KFMB or 760kfmb.com. Here's a little story of one of my amazing man who we're going to talk to a little later again to get more detail, because it's just an unbelievable story of recovery, ongoing recovery still. But here's the story of Adam.
I'm originally from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Grew up hunting and fishing all the time. My uncle was in the Air Force, pararescue, and he did 4 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. So I was exposed to the military my whole life, like growing up. I went into the different recruiters and kind of really enjoyed what the Marines were telling me, like how I had to earn it and nothing's given to you. And so joined the Marine Corps. I did about 3.5 years before my incident. I received a TBI, or a traumatic brain injury, and that caused a lot of problems. Basically hit the reset button, and then I ended up at Balboa Hospital. I had to relearn how to walk, talk, and everything. I found out about Warrior Foundation Freedom Station when I was helping my other wounded warriors at the hospital, and I saw how much of that they do. When I was inpatient, I saw it on a day-to-day activities. So, like, one of the biggest ones that we have right now is sending the warriors home for the holidays. It's kind of nice to go home, you get to see the Christmas lights, the Christmas tree, have like the good family holidays, and that's a real joy for being at the hospital. You get to take a good break and just enjoy life and get to like have that family embrace, and that's something you don't always have in the military. I'm currently a resident at Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, and it's been a good, I guess the terminology would be a good brace or a good foundation. We're around other warriors every day. We have other warriors with their disabilities that are very similar to our own, and in the civilian world, that's not always present. A lot of the San Diego residents have really impacted the warriors that we have here in San Diego. The proceeds go to getting one of our amputees either a wheelchair or prosthetics. We also are able to get them retreated here at Balboa, and that costs the flights, the lodging, and then the car rental, and those donations that are made by the locals have really impacted those warriors.
Help send a hero home for the holidays. Call now, 1-800-760-KFMB, 800-760-5362.
Eric, let me know when we have the good doctor on the phone, sir. I want to thank Jacqueline Hill for giving $1,000 donation. And how about this? The San Diego Restaurant Association was here earlier, and the owner, they do a ton for Warrior Foundation. The owner of Fiesta de Reyes in Old Town said that the first 2 people to give a $5,000 donation, you win a party, a private party for 25 people at Fiesta de Reyes. He said the whole thing, the margaritas, the drinks, everything you can imagine. So you get a big blowout party. The first 2 people to give the $5,000 get that. And Terry is the first. So he or she wins the a private party at Fiesta de Reyes. And there's one more to go. So if you want this party, you get $5,000 and you win that party. Just got to call in. 1-800-760-KFMB. 1-800-760-5362. On the phone right now is Dr. Murphy. Dr. Murphy, how are you, sir?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. It's good to talk to you. Oh, let me say one thing. Sorry, doctor, before I cut you off. You may have heard me say on the radio, that's great news. My boss just told me someone called in with $25,000 matching donation. So for the next 33 minutes until the end of the hour, we have $25,000 to match right here. And I would love it personally if we got to $1 million before the end of my shift here at 3 o'clock, and we're at 848,000. So if we can get to $1 million by the end of the shift, that would be pretty cool. So we got an hour and a half to do that. So just know that your donation's double for the next 30 minutes or so. Doctor, thank you for your donation, first of all, your personal donation. The Colonel's here with me as well. Colonel, you know the doctor.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Y'all met before. Dr. Murphy, what is it you do? What do you specialize in, sir?
I treat with a personalized form of transcranial magnetic stimulation. So it's a non-invasive outpatient tool to help essentially realign brainwaves and relieve some of the side effects of trauma and sleep disorder that we see in our veterans.
Have you worked with our Warrior Foundation veterans?
I have. Well, I've got maybe Greg can mention what we've done there, but we've had some great results here recently with some folks from the various foundations around the city. We treat outside of PTSD and PTS and TBI. We treat lots of different disorders, really treating the brain and trying to stabilize the system across the board.
What kind of results are you seeing, particularly out of our warriors, but of anyone really?
The biggest difference you see off the bat is sleep improvement and a reduction in anxiety. Those go together. Most of these warriors are made to be hypervigilant by nature. That's a good warrior. It's hard to pull that out of the patient once they come home after months of being in that theater. And our goal is to sort of reestablish a more calm and restful position for the brain and take it out of that hypervigilant state.
Does it mean, what does it mean to you? Like, why give your, I'll say here, $500 donation to the Warrior Foundation? Why is that important to you, sir?
Well, I want to personally help. I'm a veteran myself. It'd be great to know that we help someone come home from the environment. I've got a history of a lot of ties to the military outside of my academic life. So I'm a fan of what the work is that you're doing. I think it's amazing. You said you could mention raising over $1 million. That's just amazing. I think it's great.
By 3. Colonel, I don't know if you could hear that. You don't have headphones on, but you could hear that over there, I think. Your experience with working with Dr. Murphy, it sounds like you guys have known each other for a long time.
Yeah, so since I got here about 6 months ago is when I met Dr. Murphy, and had talked to a couple of guys who had been through this PRTMS treatment that he does up at Mindset in the local area, and so was immediately kind of taken. We have a couple board members who are big fans, nice. And I went up, listened to Dr. Murphy's presentation, talked to some others, and became a pretty quick believer. And since then, we've been each month funding more and more veterans to go through the treatment, and just getting uniformly great results. So we're big fans.
That's great, because a lot of these guys here, they're missing limbs, and that's obvious, but you don't see the PTS and TBI. So to be able to treat that is pretty breakthrough stuff. Well, grateful for that, Doctor. Thank you, sir. And can you want to speak to that? Do you want to speak to the breakthroughness of this and maybe the lengths we have to go?
Well, I would say that what we're trying to do is both analyze the brain state and then put it into a pictogram and show the patient why they feel how they feel. We can show the brainwave pattern, and that's oftentimes relieving for our patients to see. Here's why you feel this way. You've got all these areas of really slow waves that create depression, all these areas of high waves creating anxiety. So I think that being able to see it's been a good thing. And then we have, of course, a therapy that can treat it, and then watch the waves change while we treat. And so I think there's, of course, a long way to go with the exact science and some of the work that can be improved upon. We've treated now maybe 5,000 patients total across the board, from autism to Alzheimer's. And in all those cases, we're trying to increase the brain synchrony and create a nice wave pattern, which reduces a lot of symptoms in patients. In some cases, it's remarkable. Like the Colonel's saying, and we have cases, of course, where we don't see a response.
Yeah.
It's a small number, but maybe 5-10% aren't getting a response, and we stop on those cases.
Yeah, I pray for the day when we know exactly how this works and see 100% results in dramatic ways, because it's a major problem right now, obviously. Doctor, thanks for being on the cutting edge of that. Appreciate you, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for your donation, too. 1-800-760-KFMB. Well, because of that last surge, we're now at 893,000. So I've never... That's a ridiculous number. So we got to get there. We got to get to $1 million. We got 1 hour and a half to get to $1 million here. Let's do this. And your donations double for the next 28 minutes. 1-800-760-KFMB. Get the phones ringing. The back row's not doing nothing right now. 1-800-760-KFMB. Or you can donate online, 760kfmb.com. Let's get our guys home.